So, believe it or not, when I was younger, it was a little ableist, sexist, homophobic, little racist kind of, butthole. Now, before I talk about places, let's just all keep in mind that these kinds of people literally are everywhere. I grew up in 2 southern states in one country in a completely different continent that was very oppressive. And when I was in my middle school years and about the first 2 years of high school, I had a best friend at the time that was one of those ableist, homophobic, racist, sexist kinds of people. And sometimes who you are depends on the kinds of people that you hang out with. And my best friend from grade 8 to grade 11 was that kind of person. I used to be one of those people that called other girls sluts and whores when I would be on the phone with that friend and she was bad-mouthing girls because of boys. I would agree with her or whatever, and I would basically bad-mouth with her. Even if the words did not actually come out of my mouth, I was agreeing with her and that was bad enough. And sometimes I did use those words and that was probably the same amount of bad, if not worse. Sometimes when we were having conversations about people who were gay, I would use that F word that is a slur and call them that. She would call them that. Other people would call them that, and you know, we all giggled and all of that crappy stuff. I would make fun of guys who weren't masculine, stereotypically masculine, like society says that they need to be. The racism stuff was more to myself and not actually out loud. There would always be something in the back of my mind that, well, the racism wouldn't come out in real words, it would sort of come out in actions, just the look on my face and me being apprehensive around certain people. And it was ridiculous. Looking back on it now and just talking about the kind of stuff that I used to do and say on camera is making me want to vomit right now. By the time I got to around 15 years old and the internet was becoming more popular, I went on this website that was called Girl.com and I met other people online who had completely different and obviously better for the people beliefs than I did, and I remember reading all of this stuff and I was just kind of like, wow, what was I thinking? Spending 2 years being on that forum and talking with other people, everything that I believed when I was younger ended up being the complete opposite. I went from being completely anti-choice to having all of these bad thoughts about people who are different than me and making all these slurs and other kinds of comments. I went from all of that and I completely flipped that around because I opened my mind finally and I realized this is not the kind of stuff that I need to be doing and saying. It doesn't make me feel better and it obviously does not make them feel better at all. By the time the summer after junior year rolled around, I got to the point where I was done with her, but I didn't want to flat out say, you know what, hey, you're not really a good person and I don't want to be around you. So I eventually just, all the many phone calls we had eventually went to 1 phone call a week because I avoided all the phone calls. And by the time senior year rolled around, I just dropped her completely. This was almost 10 years ago. When I think about it now, I'm thinking, why aren't more people open-minded like this? Why are there so many people that still think these kinds of things, these bad things that don't need to be thought? And then I remember that people aren't just born or wake up one day and think, I'm racist, I'm sexist, I'm ist and ick, and all of that. It's something that's learned, it's something that you kind of develop sometimes depending on the people that you're around all of the time. And it's not a good excuse at all, really. Not too long ago, North Carolina finally made it legal for same-sex couples to get married, and I remember my dad telling me a little over a week and a half ago that he regretted voting for Amendment 1 that we had a few years ago. And part of Amendment 1 was keeping marriage between a man and a woman in North Carolina. And he goes, you know what, I don't know why I voted for this. That was ridiculous, and I don't understand why I thought that was a good idea to vote for this kind of marriage only, and I'm sorry. I remember all the things that you told me when that part of the election was going on, and I regret it. And I'm really happy that these people can get married now. And I looked at him and I went, who are you? And I look at that now and I'm thinking, why is it that I have to be so surprised when people realize that other people are people? It's 2014, we shouldn't have then, and we shouldn't now still be thinking, well, these people aren't people and they don't deserve this, they don't deserve basic human rights, so let's not do it. Let's not have them have that. Of course, you can't force somebody to change their mind. You can only give them your thoughts, your opinions, and just give them the information that you have and hope that they open their mind and they change the not so good beliefs to better ones. Stuff like this isn't on the same level as you like the color orange and I like the color pink. It isn't, well, you like pizza and I like a cheeseburger. This is people's livelihoods that we are talking about. I remember being completely anti-food stamps and, you know, help and telling these people, oh my god, just get a job, you lazy person. Which is hilarious now because look at me. The fact is, I don't know what these people have gone through. I do not personally know these people, and who am I to deny them help when they obviously need it? And all this abusing the system kind of thing, you don't, unless you actually know that so-and-so is abusing the system, you can't just say, well, you're abusing the system. You can't say just because a person has an iPhone that they're abusing the system. Gifts exist. People give gifts, and in this day and age, you need something like a smartphone and stuff to find jobs. Everything is now relying on smartphones and the internet, and we are actually at the point that we need these things in order to progress in life. I was just thinking earlier today about how I used to be this not so great person and how I'd done a lot of changes to my beliefs and my personality since graduating high school. Sometimes dropping the bad people that you hang around is a good thing. The unfortunate thing is that it can cost you a friendship, but if these people have beliefs that end up physically and emotionally harming people, is it really worth having them around? For me, personally, I don't want to have somebody who thinks so-and-so should not have basic human rights because of their skin color or their sexual orientation or because of their gender or because they simply do not have the privilege to have all the good things in life. People deserve help. People deserve good things and they deserve basic human rights and to have a good life. So yeah, if you were like me once upon a time when you were in your very young teenage years, but you've also changed your ways like me, leave a comment down below and I want to know your experiences. And I will see you in my next video.